बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन। यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन। यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन। यामुनतीरावनचारी। यामुनतीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे। जय राधा नील माधव राधा नील माधव राधे। जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय। जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा। जय सीताराम लक्ष्मण भक्त हनुमान। जय सीताराम लक्ष्मण भक्त हनुमान। जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद। जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय गुरुदेव। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरे कृष्ण। Thank you very much, dear devotees, for kindly being present here today. I'm very grateful to each and every one of you for kindly being here today. Yeah. So, dear devotees, we are continuing from where we left off yesterday. The discussion on Vaidhi Bhakti and Raganuga Bhakti. Yesterday, the discussion was mainly about Vaidhi Bhakti, and today we will also discuss what the previous acharyas say regarding Raganuga Bhakti. But before we do that, I'll quickly perform Mangala Charan, auspicious invocations. Most of us know these verses. You can kindly sing along with me. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupah Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratrushe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada ki jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. So thank you very much, dear devotees, for kindly being present here today. I am very thankful to the management of ISKCON of Seattle, Damodar Prashad Prabhu, all the wonderful devotees who are managing the community so nicely. I am very thankful to each and every one of you. I am also thankful to Srinivas Sharan Prabhu and entire family for kindly hosting us. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. And dear devotees, yesterday we were discussing what is Vaidhi Bhakti, and we discussed all the details of Vaidhi Bhakti. Today we are going to begin the discussion of the second type of sadhan bhakti. And what is the name of the second type, dear devotees? Raganuga, sadhan bhakti. So, dear devotees, yesterday Vaidhi Bhakti was specified, and we will do a little revision of what was specified yesterday. Let us go to the definition. Of Vaidhi Bhakti, which we did yesterday, and this is the definition that was specified yesterday. First and foremost, it was specified that bhakti is of three types. Does anybody remember what were the three types of bhakti that were specified? Sadhan bhakti, bhav bhakti, prema bhakti. Sadhan bhakti is bhakti in practice, and prema bhakti is the goal to be achieved. So the practice, the means, and the goal. And in between there is one type of bhakti sitting. Who is that bhakti? Bhava bhakti. Because bhava bhakti neither belongs to sadhan bhakti fully, nor belongs to prema bhakti fully. Therefore, it deserves a separate category of its own. Therefore, bhava bhakti is given a separate category. Now, even sadhan bhakti is of two types. And does anybody remember what are the two types of sadhan bhakti? Vaidhi, raganuga. And yesterday we discussed what is Vaidhi, sadhan bhakti. Bhakti in practice, but purely out of vidhi. What is the meaning of vidhi, dear devotees? Injunction. What is the meaning of vidhi? Injunction. Injunction is given by whom, dear devotees? Shastra. That is very clear. Sri Rupa Goswami said, Yatra rag anavaptatvat pravritti rupajayate. Rag anavaptatvat, where raga bhakti has not yet developed. But pravrittir, still there is tendency to engage in bhakti. But this tendency is due to shasan. Shasan, what is the meaning of shasan? Discipline. Discipline of what? Shastrasya. Discipline of Shastra. Then that sort of bhakti becomes known as which bhakti? Vaidhi bhakti. Now, dear devotees, now we have to understand what is rag. And yesterday we did a little bit about rag. We will go back to Srila Jiva Goswami in the Bhakti Sandarbha. He says, Atha raganuga. Now, let's try to understand what is raganuga bhakti. First, he defines what is rag, and we did this yesterday. Tatra vishayinah swabhaviko vishaya samsargacha atishayamaya prema ragaha. He says, sense enjoyers have tremendous attachment to sense objects. And in the material world, that is known as rag. So that is rag in the which world, dear devotees? Material world. So that is rag. And then he says, Yatha chakshur adinam saundarya adav. Just like eyes have natural rag, natural attachment towards saundarya. What is saundarya, dear devotees? Beauty. Then he says, Tadrisha eva atra bhaktasya Shri Bhagavati api raga iti uchyate. Similar, but completely different natured rag is of a devotee towards Bhagavan. When a devotee starts having that feeling of belongingness towards Bhagavan, that, dear devotees, is raga. And before rag is present, if still bhakti is going on without rag, then that is because of shasan of Shastra. So this was clearly specified. Dear devotees, now Sri Rupa Goswami will define what is Raganuga Bhakti. Dear devotees, I will sing the verse. Please repeat after me. Atha Raganuga Virajantim Abhivyaktam Vrajavasi Janadishu Ragatmika Manusrita Ya saraganugochate Virajantim abhivyaktam vrajavasi janadishu. Virajantim, there is one type of bhakti which is forever residing, eternally residing. Abhivyaktam, it is clearly manifested. Where vrajavasi janadishu, in the residents of Vraja. Which residents of Vraja? The eternal associates of Krishna. Dear devotees, can you give me the names of a few eternal associates of Krishna in Vrindavan? Yashoda, Mother Yashoda, okay. Nanda Maharaj, okay. Gopis, okay. Gopas, Balaram, okay. All the Sakhis, wonderful. Virajantim. There is one type of bhakti which is forever virajantim, or forever staying in them. And not only staying in them, abhivyaktam, clearly expressed in them. Dear devotees, that type of bhakti is known as, please repeat after me, ragatmika bhakti. So the eternal residents of Raja, not the residents of Raja in the 21st century, the eternal residents of Raja. For example, Nanda, Yashoda in Vatsalya Ras, Shridam, Sudama in which ras? Sakhya. The correct term is not Sakhya, the correct term is what? Sakhya Ras. And the Gopis of Vrindavan in which ras, dear devotees? Madhurya Ras. And in Dasya there is Chitrak, Patrak, other servants, Madhukantha, Snigdakantha, they are all in Dasya Ras. So dear devotees, all of these eternal Vrajavasis have a type of bhakti which is residing within them. This bhakti is called as Raga Atmika Bhakti. What bhakti is that, dear devotees? Raga Atmika. This bhakti cannot be had by any of us right now. This bhakti cannot be had by any of us at this point of time, because right now we are not an eternal Vrajavasi. So that bhakti which the eternal Vrajavasis have is known as which bhakti? Rag Atmika. Rag, natural attachment for Krishna, is Atmika, has become their very soul, has become their very life and soul. So they are known as Ragatmikas. Dear devotees, I hope you are able to understand. And Anusrita. But we can follow a bhakti in footsteps of those eternally perfected associates. So that bhakti which follows in the footsteps of the eternally perfected associates, Anuga, that bhakti is known as which bhakti? Rag Anuga Bhakti. So dear devotees, very specific definition. Please hear carefully so that we get the definition correct. First thing, Rag is innate natural attachment for Shri Krishna in one of the rasas. I hope you are able to understand. Natural innate attachment for Krishna in one of the rasas. This Rag is naturally existing in one type of people. Which type of people is it existing? Eternal Vrajavasi associates. If somebody follows in the footsteps of those eternal associates and wants to develop a similar mood, that sort of a bhakti is known as which bhakti? Rag Anuga. Because right now we cannot become one type of bhakta. Which type of bhakta can we not become? Ragatmika. For becoming Ragatmika bhakta, we will need a perfected body in the spiritual world. Right now, do we have a perfected body in the spiritual world? No. So dear devotees, right now we only have this body which is called as sadhak deha, the body of a practitioner. Now this body of a practitioner can only follow in the footsteps of the eternal associate of Vraja. Therefore the only bhakti possible at this point of time is either Vaidhi Bhakti or which Bhakti? Raganuga Bhakti. Now dear devotees, Rupa Goswami is going to give one qualification for Raganuga Bhakti. Dear devotees, can somebody tell me what is the qualification required to enter into Raganuga Bhakti? Huh? Bolo, bolo. Human body, that is for entering into Bhakti. Okay. Greed. Laulyam. Wonderful. What is the meaning, what is the English translation of the term laulyam? Greed. Intense hankering is what laulyam is. So, intense hankering for what? Can anybody tell me intense hankering for what? To get Krishna Prem? Nah, that is not the answer. No. No. Intense hankering. Yes, Param Karuna Prabhu knows. Yes. Wonderful. Intense hankering to develop the mood of an existing eternal associate of Krishna. I hope you are able to understand. That is the meaning of laulya. Laulya is also known as lobha. What is it known as? Lobha. Dear devotees, Rupa Goswami's own words. Please repeat after me. Tatra Adhikari. Now we will know who is the Adhikari. What is the meaning of Adhikari, dear devotees? Eligible person. For which type of bhakti? Raganuga bhakti. So please repeat after me. Ragatmikaika nishthaye व्रजवासी जनादयः तेषां भावाप्तये लुब्धो भवेद अत्राधिकारवान्. So dear devotees, ragatmika eka nishthaye. There are some individuals who are ragatmika, one-pointed ragatmikas. Who are those one-pointed ragatmikas, dear devotees? He specifies. Who are that? Vrajavasi Janas, the eternal associates of Krishna. Now, Tesham Bhavaptaye, Tesham Bhava, they have a mood. Aptaye, for attaining that mood. Lubdho, somebody who has lobha. What is the meaning of lobha, dear devotees? Intense hankering or intense greed. That person, Bhaved, becomes Atra Adhikaravan. He becomes Adhikari. He becomes eligible for entering into the path of which bhakti, dear devotees? Raganuga bhakti. So this is the difference between a person who is eligible for Vaidhi bhakti and a person who is eligible for which bhakti? Raganuga bhakti. It's very important to understand that Raganuga bhakti is developed only by a specific mindset, and that mindset is somebody develops intense hankering to get the mood of an existing eternal associate of Sri Krishna. Unless one has lobha, it is impossible to even enter into the path of Raganuga bhakti. And if one has lobha, then one has the eligibility to enter. Now what is lobha, dear devotees? Intense hankering. Once again, for what? Not just any Vrajavasi. Any a specific Vrajavasi, eternal associate of Krishna, for following in their footsteps. Now many people, on hearing this, they may think, well, I cannot have this type of bhakti. Dear devotees, yes, it is very rare to get this type of bhakti. Therefore, most of the people in the world are eligible for which bhakti? Vaidhi bhakti. Most people do not come up to the point where they are having the inclination to have, any interest in Raganuga bhakti. But Sri Rupa Goswami says this laulyam, this lobha, is the main qualification required to enter into the path of Raganuga bhakti. If one has the lobha, then they can enter. And if one doesn't have the lobha, no matter what they do, they cannot become eligible. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela 8.70, there is a very nice verse. And Srila Prabhupada used to say, on the basis of this verse, our International Society for Krishna Consciousness has been named. So name ISKCON has come from this verse, dear devotees. This verse is in the meter Rathodhata. Please repeat the verse after me. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Mate Kriyatam Yadi Kutopi Labhyate Tatra Laulyam Api Mulyam Ekalam Janma Koti Sukritairna Labhyate. So, Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Matihi, a mindset which is bhavita, which is fully drenched in Krishna Bhakti Ras. A consciousness that is fully drenched in which ras? Krishna Bhakti Ras. International Society for a Consciousness that is fully drenched in which ras, dear devotees? Krishna Bhakti Ras. So when Prabhupada was asked what is the meaning of ISKCON, Prabhupada said, International Society for Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Mati. This is the verse which led to the naming of the society as International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So Krishna Consciousness, the exact Sanskrit term is mentioned here. What is Krishna Consciousness in Sanskrit? Original Sanskrit? Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Mati. And if we translate it more literally, Matihi, a consciousness or a mindset which is bhavita, fully drenched in Krishna Bhakti Rasa, the joyous rasa of Krishna Bhakti. But dear devotee, it is so difficult to get it. Kriyatam, purchase it. Yadi kutopi labhyate, if you can purchase it from anywhere, then purchase it immediately. But what is the price to be paid? Tatra laulyam api mulyam ekalam. The only price to enter into the path is what, dear devotees? Laulyam, lobha. And that lobha, there is no fixed formula. Janma koti sukritair na labhyate. By millions of lives of pious activities also one cannot get the eligibility or lobha. I hope you are able to understand. Now, how does one end up getting lobha? Well, that is also very important. Dear devotees, lobha cannot be produced by any mechanical effort. Any mechanical effort cannot produce lobha. Lobha can only be transferred from the heart of an existing devotee to another devotee. That is how lobha works. Alright? A devotee who already has lobha can bestow lobha unto another devotee. Because lobha is not a product of the material world. Genuine attachment to Krishna is not a product of the material world. Sometimes devotees think, I will chant greater number of rounds. I will chant more, I will perform more sadhan bhakti. Krishna will give raga to me very easily. Dear devotees, many of us, especially those of us who come from India, we come from a background of competitive examination. How many of us have attempted competitive exams? Please raise your hands. You see, dear devotees, this is inbuilt in us. That study hard. If student A is studying for 4 hours, I will study for 8 hours. Isn't it? Huh? And then I will study very hard, and after studying hard, I will give the exam, and then I will be declared as All India Rank 1. So some of that mindset is carried over in when we come to the path of bhakti. So other people are performing sadhan bhakti, I will perform even greater quantity of sadhan bhakti. One fine day, Krishna will declare me as all Goloka rank 1 for 2024. So then, dear devotees, what happens at that point of time is, a person starts engaging in more greater quantity of sadhan. When a person starts engaging in greater quantity of sadhan, thinking that somehow by sadhan, by increasing the quantity of sadhan, Krishna's mercy will be invoked. Sri Rupa Goswami comes and says, please stop. The mindset has to change. Simply increasing the sadhan will not help achieve the result. Now, where does Sri Rupa Goswami say that? Because no speaking something without giving a praman. So Rupa Goswami will say one of the 6 characteristics of Uttama Bhakti is Sudurlabha. What is the meaning of Durlabha, dear devotees? Rare. Sudurlabha? Extremely rare. Now why is Krishna Bhakti Sudurlabha? Haven't we heard that Bhakti is the easiest path? Yesterday I told you, amongst all the processes, which process is the easiest one? Bhakti Yoga. And now Rupa Goswami is also going to say Bhakti is Sudurlabha, very rare. The answer is that it is very easy to enter into the path of Bhakti. But to come out on the other side is very, very difficult. And what is on the other side, dear devotees? What is the goal of Bhakti? Krishna Prema. First and foremost, many individuals are incorrect about the goal itself. If you ask some individuals what is the goal, some of them will say the goal is to go back home, back to Godhead. That is not the goal. That is the side effect of the goal. What is the main goal, dear devotees? Prema. And going back to Godhead or attaining liberation is one of the side effects of attaining prema. Now, dear devotees, Sri Rupa Goswami will specify why Krishna Bhakti attaining prema is sudurlabha. The verse is in front of us. I will sing the verse. It's in the first wave of the Eastern division of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, 35th verse. Kindly repeat after me. Sadhana ghairana sangair alabhya suchiradapi harina chashvadeyeti dvidha sasyat sudurlabha. Dear devotees, dvidha sudurlabha. Our problem is increasing because Krishna Bhakti, prema is sudurlabha. Not for one reason, but because of two reasons. Dvidha. Please hear the two reasons very carefully why Krishna Bhakti is, especially prema, is very difficult to achieve. It's very easy to enter into the path because all humans are eligible. Yesterday we saw Nrimatrasya Adhikarita. Just as all human beings are eligible for Magh Snan, similarly all humans are also eligible for entering into which path? Bhakti. That we saw yesterday. But to come out on the other end and achieve Krishna Prem is going to take a very special type of fortune. Why? Because Rupa Goswami says it is sudurlabha for two reasons. Please hear the two reasons carefully. Sadhan aughair. Augha means a big quantity, big heap. So sadhan aughair means a big heap of what? Sadhan. So somebody may select a big heap of sadhan. Other people read Srimad Bhagavatam for 1 hour. I will read for 8 hours. Other people circumambulate the temple only 3 times. I will circumambulate maybe 10 times. Sadhan augha. They select a greater quantity of sadhan. But anasangair. Anasanga means there is no genuine attachment to Bhagavan. I hope you are able to understand. And that attachment cannot be faked. Sadhan aughair anasangair. A person is performing a huge quantity of sadhan, anasangair, but they don't have that genuine attachment. Now why are they performing that sadhan then? Because they want to attain some result quickly. Dear devotees, they want to get to the goal very quickly. And they are not prepared to wait. So dear devotees, they want to accelerate the process. Therefore sadhan aughair. Anasangair. Rupa Goswami says alabhya. You will not attain it. Suchiradapi. Even if you perform for long time, you will not attain it. So this is Acharya Vachan. This is very clearly mentioned by Rupa Goswami. So this is the first reason why Krishna Bhakti is sudurlabha. Many people don't have the proper attitude. They just think a big heap of sadhan will mechanically produce attachment. But attachment to Krishna is not a product of the material world. How can it be produced by any material means? It cannot be produced by any material means. Attachment to Krishna is only transferred from the heart of an existing devotee who has attachment to another devotee. I hope you are able to understand. That is how attachment is transferred from one devotee's heart to another devotee's heart. In extremely rare cases, Krishna may directly evoke attachment in the heart of a devotee who does not have attachment. But usually, Krishna Bhakti Janma Moola hai sadhu sanga. The root of actual development of Krishna Bhakti is association with a particular sadhu. So therefore, dear devotees, unless one associates with a sadhu who has already achieved attachment to Krishna, it is very difficult to achieve that specific attachment. So it's very important to understand that. Now, Srila Prabhupada also emphasizes this point. You have the mic, Prabhuji, all right? So, Prabhu, can you read this entire paragraph? Prabhupada says in a lecture, June 17, 1973, please read the paragraph.
Simply, if you are engaged in Krishna's business, Preeti Purvakam, with love, not as hackneyed. Ah, here is duty, chanting of Hare Krishna. All right, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Chants very quickly and ending indistinctly. Not like that. With Preeti, with love. Chant every name, Hare Krishna. And here is Krishna, here is Radharani. That kind of chanting, quality. Not Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. Not like that. Not like that. Preeti.
So, dear devotees, if you hear the original audio of Prabhupada on this, Prabhupada is a little more animated in this. Dear devotees, Prabhupada says, simply if you are engaged in Krishna's business, Preeti Purvakam, with love, not as hackneyed. Hackneyed means not mechanical. And then Prabhupada says, here is a duty. Chanting of Hare Krishna, all right. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama. Not like that. With Preeti, with love, chant every name. Hare Krishna. And here is Krishna, here is Radharani. That kind of chanting quality. Not Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Dear devotees, not like that. Not like that. Preeti is required. It's very important to induce a particular type of attachment in all of one's sadhana bhakti. Without attachment, it is impossible to attain the result, no matter how much and how long a person performs sadhana. So, this is the first reason, dear devotees. Second reason why Krishna bhakti is rare. Harina cha ashu adeya iti. Even if one performs bhakti with attachment. Even if one performs bhakti with attachment. Harina cha ashu adeya. Bhagwan is not going to give it so easily. Without attachment, to forget it. That Rupa Goswami said in the first line. Without attachment, forget it. No mechanical effort will produce that particular result. And with attachment also, Bhagwan is not going to give it easily. Acha, why does Bhagwan not give it easily? Can anybody try to think of a reason? Yes. Maybe he wants to test us. The material world is already testing us in so many ways. Why another test? So our Bhagwan is not exactly the testing Bhagwan. Our Bhagwan is a little hesitant to enter into a new relationship. This is specified in the Srimad Bhagavatam. 5, 6, 18. Please repeat the last line after me. Muktim dadati karhichit smana bhakti yogam. Karichit muktim dadati. One point of time he will give mukti. Na bhakti yogam. But he is not very easily going to give what? Bhakti. Perfection of bhakti. That is prema. Why? Because Bhagavan is also little hesitant to enter into a new relationship. He knows these people come to me with the surname Das and Dasi. What is the meaning of Das? Servant. They come as Das and Dasi. Let's say I accept them in the spiritual world. Now, let's say today a particular devotee is accepted in the spiritual world. He becomes a Sakha of Bhagavan. Now, whatever that devotee says, will Bhagavan be able to refuse that devotee and say no to that devotee, any desire that the devotee has in the spiritual world? So in the spiritual world, who has to take care of whom? But in actuality, in actuality something else happens. So why should Bhagavan enter into a new relationship? Therefore, Bhagavan takes his sweet time, just as we take our sweet time before entering into a relationship, even in the material world. Bhagavan also takes his sweet time. Rupa Goswami says, Harina cha ashu adeya iti. Hari is not so eager to give it so easily, even if somebody performs sadhan bhakti with attachment. Dvidha, in these two ways, sa syat sudurlabha. Hari bhakti is going to remain always what, dear devotees? Sudurlabha. Extremely difficult to perfect. Many will enter the path. But as Prabhupada says in the introduction to Nectar of Instruction, in the introduction he says, success in devotional service depends upon the attitude of the follower. That is a very important statement. Success in bhakti depends on the attitude of the follower. If the attitude is proper, then little effort will produce the result. If the attitude is improper, huge amount of effort will also not produce the result. So that difference should be noted. It's not simply about who has the greatest quantity of sadhan. Because Bhagavan, it's not that I will perform sadhan bhakti till the end of my life. At the end of my life, I am going to exchange all that currency. Bhagavan, here is 16 rounds for 50 years. Plus 4 regulative principles. Bhagavan, take the cash and get me back home, back to Godhead. So it doesn't work that way, dear devotees. So therefore Chaitanya Charitamrita also says, Bahu janme kari yadi shravan kirtan, tabu tana pai Krishna pade premadhan. Bahu janme kari. Many lives, but incorrect attitude will not lead us to prema. So this prema is most important goal, but there is no mechanical formula to produce it. There is no mechanical formula also to produce raga, which is genuine attachment towards Krishna in the mood of an existing Vrajavasi. And since there is no mechanical formula to produce it, therefore most people in the material world are stumped at the prospect of developing rag. They do not know, there is no mechanical formula to produce. No, there is no mechanical formula. Increased quantity of sadhana? No, sir. Anything I can do, maybe Nirjala Ekadashi I'll do strictly? No, sir. That's not going to work. So what can I do? You can't do anything. Then it cannot be achieved by any effort? Nah, it is not achieved by any effort on your side. Then what can be done? Well, one thing you can do. You can try to be sahriday, like-minded, to a person who has already achieved the stage of prema. And then in the association of that person, maybe some of that will rub onto your heart. Narad Muni, how much sadhana did he perform in order to get that genuine attachment towards Bhagavan? What was the main sadhana performed by Narad Muni in order to get that genuine attachment towards Bhagavan? Can anybody please tell me? Oh, wonderful, dear devotees. So this is the main sadhana that is required. Success in bhakti depends upon the attitude of the follower. Correct attitude, immediate success. Still in that life, Bhagavan came to him and said, I am sorry, Narad Muni. Alas, you will not be able to see me again in this life. But attitude is very proper. No problem, Bhagavan. I will wait for next life. It's not a Bhagavan, but you promised, back to Godhead. I was supposed to go in this life. No. Acha. If Bhagavan comes to us and says, Dear Prabhu, in this life you will not go back home, back to Godhead. Just like he told Narad Muni. So what are we going to do? Better enjoy rest of the life, isn't it? In Hindi there is a phrase, Na Maya mili na Ram, I didn't get Maya, I didn't get Ram. We don't want to, the conditioned living entity is always thinking either let me attain Maya or let me attain Ram or let me attain Bhagavan. But if Bhagavan is not going to be attained in this life, then at least, let me at least attain what? Maya, That prospect is always there. But dear devotees, the mature devotee is somebody who is willing to give up all selfishness on the path. Because truly speaking, moksha, the desire to go back home, back to Godhead, is another form of selfishness. Is another form of selfishness which is mentioned directly in the Shastra. And therefore it is rejected in the second verse of the Bhagavatam itself. Dharma projita kaitavotra paramo nirmat saranam satam. Dharma projita, praujjita, nicely discarded out. All cheating religion is nicely discarded out. And going back, the desire to go back to Godhead is also discarded? Of course it is discarded. Where does it say? In the commentary of Srila Sridhar Swami, which is quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 1.93 quotes the commentary of Srila Sridhar Swami. Please repeat after me. prashabdena moksha abhisandhir api nirastah iti. So Prabhu, can you read what is the translation? You have the mic? Who has the mic? You read.
The prefix pra in the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam indicates that the desire for liberation is completely rejected.
Dear devotees. So actual bhakti begins when one desire is rejected. Which desire is rejected? And this liberation includes all 5 types of liberation, including going back to Godhead. Because many people misinterpret and say only impersonal liberation should be rejected. No. All 5 types of liberation are to be, the desire for them is to be rejected. Then selfless bhakti begins at that point of time. As long as we want something in exchange for our bhakti, till that point of time the transactional nature of bhakti remains. And till the time transactional nature of bhakti remains, till that time a devotee has not truly become selfless. After writing 17 Puranas and Mahabharata, inside Mahabharata was Bhagavad Gita, and the final verse of Bhagavad Gita spoke the biggest transaction ever. What is the biggest transaction promised in the Bhagavad Gita in the end? Please tell me. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shucha. Arjun, you give me something, I will give you something. What should Arjun give to Krishna? Abandon all varieties of religion. Acha, if I don't abandon, then I will not give you. So Bhagavan, this is the transaction. After compiling the entire Mahabharata, 17 Puranas, Vyasadeva is still unhappy. He's thinking, what is wrong? What did I do wrong that I am not happy? Dear devotees, author is not happy, what to speak of the readers? I hope you are able to understand. Author is not satisfied at heart. Will the readers be satisfied? Narad Muni comes and Vyasadeva is still depressed in heart. Vyasadeva wants to find out the reason. Narad Muni, instead of telling him the reason directly, Narad Muni asks a rhetorical question. Vyasadeva, are you happy? No, my dear Lord, I am not happy. Vyasadeva, are you happy with, giving this dharma, artha, kama and moksha as the ultimate goal of life in all these 17 Puranas and Mahabharata and Bhagavad Gita? Because all of them have transactions in them. Dharma is obviously transaction. Perform yajna, go to Swarga. Devatas will satisfy you, you satisfy the Devatas. Fully transactional. Artha is the currency of transaction. Money is the currency of transaction. Kama is transaction. You satisfy my senses, I satisfy your senses. And moksha also turned out to be transaction. Vyasadeva, sorry, but this will not satisfy the living entity. Something higher is needed. Acha, what higher is needed? Vyasadeva, you have to reject all selfishness in the beginning of the literature that you will write. All right. Then in the beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd verse, Vyasadeva himself, dharma projhita, praujhita, nicely discarded, all cheating religion. And pra means nicely, even the desire for moksha, going back home, back to Godhead, is rejected. Now, dear devotees, let us take a chota sankalp. Will you take a little sankalp after me? Okay? It's going to be little difficult, okay? But we will try, okay? Chalo, please repeat after me. See, the deities are hearing, all right? Dear Krishna, I say to you that from today I will not perform my bhakti with the desire of going back to Godhead. Everybody said, na? कोई चुप तो नहीं बैठा ना? हाँ. अच्छा, please repeat after me. Dear Krishna, now I will only perform bhakti for attaining your prema, because your prema is for your satisfaction, not mine. Dear devotees, at this point of time when the devotee gets this mode, Krishna is a little stumbled at this point of. Why? Because Krishna has that statement in the Gita, ye yatham mam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamyaham. As you surrender unto me, I will reciprocate. Now, Prabhu, you performed a lot of bhakti, and then Krishna asks you, what do you want? And in return, you say, I don't want anything. Ask something. No, I don't want anything. Nothing for yourself? No. I want one thing. Acha, what is it? Krishna will say, I want your prema. But that is for my happiness, Krishna will say. What do you want for yourself? Nothing. I hope you are able to understand. That is the beginning of non-transactional religion. And when that begins, dear devotees, it is at that point of time that the devotee truly gains the eligibility to transcend the four purusharthas, dharma, artha, kama and moksha, and aims for the pancham, fifth purushartha, which is Krishna prem, which is the purushartha that is expected from the Gaudiya Vaishnavas by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this, dear devotees, is very important for all of us to understand. Very few people are eligible for the practice of raganuga bhakti because most people don't understand what is raga. Most people think raganuga bhakti is the aim to be achieved, when in fact it is not specified as the aim. It is specified as one of the means, which I specified yesterday. It is one of the means of attaining prema. It is not the goal of Vaidhi bhakti. Yet, dear devotees, therefore raganuga bhakti is supposed to be bhakti in practice. And rag is a specific mood of intrinsic, natural, organic attachment to Sri Krishna, which is present within the eternally perfected associates, such as Sri Nanda, Yashoda, etc. To follow in their footsteps and mood is known as raganuga bhakti. But lobha, intense greed, to follow in those footsteps is the preliminary requirement for entering into the path. So this, dear devotees, after a person gets lobha, somehow, there is no mechanical formula, but after a person gets lobha, what should a person do? So Sri Rupa Goswami in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu is going to specify what a person should do after they attain the bare minimum qualification for raganuga bhakti. What is the bare minimum qualification? Lobha. And lobha, what is the meaning of lobha? Greed. Greed for what? It's very specific. We can't just put any words there. Greed to develop a very specific mood of following in the footsteps of a particular Vrajavasi. That is lobha, dear devotees. Otherwise, if we make up our own definition of lobha, Rupa Goswami said, this is not my Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Kisi aur ka Bhakti Rasamrit, this is not mine. Okay? So, dear devotees, what Rupa Goswami says, that is Praman. Therefore, a person is supposed to perform the following activities after they get the eligibility. This is not before they get the eligibility, after they get the eligibility. Sri Jiva Goswami says, Atha Raganugaya Paripati Maha. Now we will specify what are the practices of Raganuga. Dear devotees, please repeat the verse after me. It is from Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Many of us might have done it during our Bhakti Shastri, but it's now required to have a closer look at it. Please repeat after me. Krishnam Smaranjanam Chasya Prishtam Nijasamihitam Tattat Katharataschasav Kuryad Vasam Vraje Sada. Krishnam Smaran, while remembering Krishna. Smaran is present tense, while remembering, which means it indicates remembrance of Krishna should be a constant factor, daily sadhana. Krishnam Smaran, while remembering Krishna. Janam Chasya, and the eternal associate of Krishna. Which eternal associate? Preshtham Nija Samihitam, which is dear to one's particular mood of lobha. For example, somebody has developed lobha to follow in the footsteps of Nanda Maharaj. Then Nanda Maharaj is their particular associate whom they should remember along with Krishna. Krishnam Smaran, one should remember Krishna, because some people think it's only me and Krishna, nobody else in between. So that's not like that. Krishnam Smaran, while remembering Krishna. Janam Cha Asya, and the associate of Krishna, especially that associate who is Preshtham Nija Samihitam, who is dear to one's inclination on the path of Raganuga Bhakti. Tat Tat Katha Ratas Chasav, always becoming engaged in hearing specific katha of that particular associate, kuryad vasam vraje sada, and then reside always in one particular place. Which place, dear devotees? Vraja is specified. Sri Jiva Goswami says this is only if one has the physical caliber to stay in Vraja. If one does not have the physical caliber to stay in Vraja, one can also reside within one's mind in Vraja. So in this way, dear devotees, this is the paripati. This is the very clear path mentioned by the previous acharyas. Most individuals are either scared of even trying to attempt. Most individuals are either not aware of the path, scared of the path, or they scare others unnecessarily. I hope you are able to understand. Why? Because if most individuals are asked, do you want to go to Goloka Vrindavan? Most devotees are asked, how many want to go to Goloka Vrindavan? Please raise your hands. How many want to go? Nobody wants to go? Good. We just promised right now, I don't want to go. I think I should have asked this question before and then made answer. Acha, theek hai. Now, dear devotees, Goloka Vrindavan, to attain Goloka Vrindavan is not going to happen by practicing Vaidhi Bhakti that was specified yesterday itself. A very specific type of Bhakti is required. And what type of Bhakti is required to attain Goloka Vrindavan? Raganuga Bhakti. That was specified yesterday through Nishedh Mukh, where Shastra says it cannot be attained by Vaidhi Bhakti, and Vidhi Mukh, where Shastra says it can only be attained by Raganuga Bhakti. But many individuals are either scared or not willing to even get a glimpse into what is Raganuga Bhakti. But dear devotees, this is what the Sampradaya has specified, and therefore it is very important that after a certain number of years of practice, not in the very beginning, after a certain number of years of practice, one should definitely know these things, and one should always have the aim that why I will develop this particular type of bhakti, which is known as Raganuga Bhakti, and then I will perfect my life by attaining Krishna Prem, and Mukti, liberation, will come as a side effect. I do not need to worry about Mukti at all. So this, dear devotees, is the attitude of the Gaudiya Vaishnava, a Gaudiya Vaishnava who is through and through a devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Rupanuga. Dear devotees, those who are Rupanugas, they follow exactly in the footsteps of Sri Rupa Goswami without adding or subtracting anything. And this is what Sri Rupa Goswami wrote for all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas on the planet. So dear devotees, Rupa Goswami said in the beginning of the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Suhridam Pramodaya. I am writing for the happiness of my near and dear ones, the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is the intended audience of the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, and Rupa Goswami has given all these secrets to us. So at this point of time, I'll pause my speech. I'm sure there are a few queries, but thank you very much, dear devotees. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much. So very nice classes yesterday and today. So I have multiple questions. I'll take one or two, and then if nobody has, I'll continue. So you says without Ragatmak Bhakti, you cannot go back to the Krishna.
Nah.
You cannot get the Krishna's love.
Nah.
Without Raganuga Bhakti, you won't be able to reach to Krishna.
No, I didn't say that.
Vrajbhas.
That is good. Very specific.
So isn't it they are pretty similar? Means like you want to go back to Krishna's love or Vrajvasi bhav. How do we define Prabhu?
Without Raganuga Bhakti, it is impossible to get the mood of a Vrajavasi. Going back to Godhead is a side effect. But do we want to attain the mood of an eternal Vrajavasi? Yes. In what mood do we want to attain Prema? If we want to attain Prema in the mood of a Dwarakavasi, Vaidhi Bhakti is sufficient. There also Krishna is present. And Rupa Goswami will very clearly specify in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, because I will quote the verse. The devotees, please repeat after me. Riram sam sushtu kurvanyo vidhi margena sevate kevalenaiva satada mahishitvam iyat pure. Riramsa, the desire to love Krishna is there. Sushtu, very nicely. But yo vidhi margena sevate. But the practice is according to which path? Vaidhi Bhakti. Kevalenaiva, only Vaidhi Bhakti. No element of raganuga Bhakti. Sa tada, that person, the maximum they can attain is Mahishitvam iyat pure. They can become a queen in Dwarka. That is the maximum attainment of a person who performs bhakti according to the path of Vidhi. Many people try to put shortcuts here. But my guru will save me at the time of death. Are Baba, your guru will supersede Rupa Goswami's instructions and do something which Rupa Goswami did not tell in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. If it was there, then Rupa Goswami would have mentioned here. Somebody is performing Vaidhi Bhakti, but at the last moment Guru may change it to Raganuga Bhakti. No, sir. That is not possible. Vaidhi and Raganuga are individual attitudes. Therefore, yadrishi bhavana yasya siddhir bhavati tadrishi. According to the mood that a person develops, that is the siddhi that a person attains. So this, dear devotees, is very, very clear. A person who practices only according to the path of Vaidhi Bhakti will attain Dwaraka, and a person who performs Raganuga Bhakti will attain Braja. This was also specified in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and I yesterday quoted Prabhupada's translation. Did you see the verse yesterday, Mataji? Okay, very nice.
So same thing, Prabhu, as you answered.
Jai. Shri Radha Nil Madhav Ji ki jai.
So Prabhu, let's say just you make us like vow, okay, take the vow, you won't do the like desired bhakti, or you will do like to Krishna Prem Bhakti. So what happen if you break the vow? Because we are all under material of it. And so many things happen in our life. And if you break the vow, what happens?
Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says in the Madhurya Kadambini, a devotee takes vow and sometimes a devotee is not able to follow the vow. It is called anishtita bhajan. Still the devotee continues. It's not like the devotee gives up. Alright? Devotees often take many vows. Sometimes they are not able to follow up. No problem.
It's not like Vaishnava Aparadha and your bhakti degrade.
It's not like that.
And
Yeah, please continue.
so one more, I heard the same thing you were saying, like chant doesn't matter, you cannot chant like pure name, or you are practicing, you are not focusing, your mind is wandering. Do service, you have a faith on Krishna, you have a love for Krishna, but your service, when you do a service, sometimes your mood is like, okay, I'm really serving, and sometimes you are distracting for some things, you are not conscious what you are doing, even cooking, cleaning, anything in the temple. But you do at least come, do service, chant, take association, everything you are doing. But still it's not stays. Like if you think one time, okay, it's not going to happen anything, forget about this life. Even next million's life, I'm not able to get the Vrajvasi vow. And sometimes I hear some lectures, he said, okay, doesn't matter, you keep doing the things, you keep doing service, keep doing sadhana, keep doing, you try your best. And maybe end of the life, like you mentioned that Guru will take that. So I heard that we did so many things, but when you go to the gate, meant like, okay, he's still Prabhupada's legacy. So they will get I heard that we have this privilege. So I don't know, Prabhu, how do we understand these two things together?
See, miss, I'll rephrase the question so that everybody can understand. In today's talk, I said that unless one has some attachment towards Krishna, progress is very difficult. And sometimes you have heard certain devotees, no matter if you don't have attachments, just continue. Just continue the practice. Obviously, the injunction is not to stop the practice if you don't have attachment. One should continue the practice. But attitude is very important. Some people sit down with the attitude that nothing is going to happen. I hope you are able to. Nothing is going to happen. Abhi, what to do? I don't have anything and I will not develop anything. I hope you are able to understand. So let me just continue mechanically forever. For them, Rupa Goswami says, all right, if that is the attitude, what to do? Alabhya. It is not going to be attained so easily. Acha, then they say at the moment of death, my guru or maybe Srila Prabhupada will say, how can we turn exceptions into rules? They forget this fact. How can we turn exceptions into rules? Like, has Srila Prabhupada taken a contract for everybody? or if that contract is available for everybody, then Prabhupada would have mentioned that you do just anyhow you do, I will take care. So that is not what Prabhupada said. What Prabhupada said is very clearly in the books. And Prabhupada said, I have mentioned it many times, the direct instructions of Prabhupada are an eye-opener in this regard. People cherry pick statements from Prabhupada and say that no, this statement will be applicable to me. But the general statements given in the books are most important, and Prabhupada has said that one should progress on the path of bhakti and attain Krishna Prem, without which, without attaining Krishna Prem, it is impossible to attain that Goloka Vrindavan or anything else, any other goal of life. So in some exceptional cases, the Guru may make some concession, but should exceptions be turned into rules? So that is a question. And are we depending on that? So that is those
of course I am, Prabhu.
Huh?
I am depending it.
Sure, okay.
But like I don't want to, but I
No,
feel
no
like that
doubt.
I want to depend on that because it's not going to happen on my own. Means like I shouldn't be, but I feel like still I'm depending on because I'm not able to do anything. It's not going to happen anything in this life, or maybe next few years.
To have this hopelessness is good, but a devotee also has something called as Asha Bandha. Rupa Goswami says Asha Bandha is the hope that despite my disqualification, I still have hope that in this life somehow I will be able to develop the proper attitude. Despite all the disqualification, I still have the hope. Because once that Asha Bandha is lost, that there is no hope, then what to do? Therefore, that Asha Bandha should be there. Rupa Goswami compares it to a tantu. Tantu means the fiber of a lotus stalk. Have you seen broken a lotus stalk and pulled it apart? You may see a fiber. And that fiber keeps on becoming thinner, but it doesn't break. Usually it doesn't break. So that is Asha Bandha. It's becoming thinner every day. Somehow it's not breaking. So that Asha Bandha should be there. That hope should be there. That despite the disqualification, I will be able to attain. There's a very nice verse. Rupa Goswami says, Prachinanam bhajanam atulam. Prachinanam bhajanam atulam dushkaram shrinvato me nairashriyana jvalati hridayam bhakti leshalasasya vishwadrichim agaratava karunya vichim asha bindu kshitamidam upaityantare hanta shaityam. Very nice verse. Rupa Goswami says, Prachinanam bhajanam. When I hear about the bhakti of the previous devotees, Dushkaram, very difficult bhakti, very difficult type of bhakti they executed. Shrinvatome, nairashyena jvalati hridayam. My heart burns out of anxiety. Why? Bhakti lesha alasasya. My heart is so lazy, even a tiny bit of bhakti is not present. But still, Rupa Goswami doesn't say, I am waiting for my death now. At the moment of death, my Guru will save me. But Rupa Goswami says, Vishwadrichim agaharatava karnya karunya vichim. Bhagwan, still, some mercy of yours, I am expecting that. Asha bindu kshitamidam upaityantare hanta shaitya. My heart is still getting some cooling effect because I have heard that your mercy makes the impossible possible. So in this life, I still hope that I will be able to attain that required Krishna Prem. Maybe you will send somebody who will act as the person who will revolutionize my life. So that is the attitude of the devotee who is following in the footsteps of Sri Rupa Goswami. So my request is, I can only request, please don't give up hope. Please don't give up hope. Asha Bandha is very important for a devotee. Otherwise what will happen, in this life also, let's say we chant 16 rounds also or more rounds also, with that hopelessness nothing is going to happen, then it is not anukulya, it is not favorability towards Krishna. It's Hare Krishna, what is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Just pull the rope like one pulls a bucket out of the well. Hare Krishna, 16 rounds done. Chalo. Today's job is done. So with that attitude, nothing is going to happen. Asha Bandha is very important. ठीक है.
Thank you, Prabhu. I'll give the mic. If nobody has,
Sure.
I'll take it.
Sure.
So I was just thinking if Prabhupada was going in the path of raganuga bhakti.
Was Prabhupada?
Yeah.
Oh, he has taught. He has taught both types of bhakti. Vaidhi also, raganuga also. He has taught.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So I wanted to ask about the Raganuga Bhakti. If we are going to be in the following the mode of a Vrajvasi, do we need to specify which Vrajvasi, and therefore do we need to know which rasa that we want to?
It's not like that. Do we need to choose one of them? It's not like that. One does not choose on this path. A guru is needed on this path. Only after a guru gives a specific instruction and checks the disciple, if the disciple has the required eligibility or not. What is the required eligibility? See, Mataji, I specified in the class 5 times. Huh? What is the required eligibility to enter into the path?
To follow in the mode of the Vrajvasi. No.
Lobha.
Lobha.
Ah. So who will check Lobha?
Guru.
Ah. Otherwise we will assume that we have. So that is not, we can't assume that. The guru has to check. And when the guru checks, and then the guru gives sanction to the disciple, then the disciple can progress according to the instructions of the guru. Even in Vaidhi Bhakti, it's not that I select which rule I will follow. It is the guru who gives the rules, the injunctions. And then according to the injunctions given by the guru, because there are millions of rules given in Hari Bhakti Vilas, which rule is supposed to be followed, which should not be followed. Who will tell? So the guru tells. So if Vaidhi or Raganuga, no bhakti begins by self-effort, it begins by the instruction of the guru. So that is very important.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. I wanted to talk about this verse, sadhu sanga, lava matra sadhu sanga. Can you please, explain a bit on that? I mean, you've already talked about it, but if you could just go over it once.
So this is Chaitanya Charitamrit Madhya 22.54. Sadhu sanga sarva shastre koy, lava matra sadhu sanga sarva siddhi hoy. So sarva shastra koy, all the shastras are saying one thing, that if you want to attain perfection on the path of bhakti, there is one definite method of attaining perfection. And what is that one definite method? Sadhu sanga. Attain association of a proper sadhu. And sadhu sanga, in order to repeatedly emphasize it, there is in Nyaya Shastra there is something called as sthuna nikhanan, hammering a pillar into the ground. You can't hammer a pillar into the ground by just hammering it once. You have to hammer it multiple times. Therefore, the verse repeats sadhu sanga twice. Sadhu sanga, sarva shastrikaya. All Shastra says you should perform sadhu sanga. Love matra sadhu sanga. Little bit of sadhu sanga also, sarva siddhi hai, is capable of bringing all perfection on the path of bhakti. But this is the basic meaning. If you see in Srimad Bhagavatam, please name a few devotees who attained perfection in the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Dhruv Maharaj.
Dhruv Maharaj.
Prahlad.
What was the main catalyst in attaining perfection?
Kingdom.
Huh?
He wanted a kingdom.
That was the main catalyst?
Narad Muni.
He had that he wanted to attain, but if he would not have gotten a guru, then he would have practiced Ashtanga Yoga instead of Bhakti Yoga. So his guru told him, all right, Ashtanga Yoga, but it should be primarily Bhakti Yoga. Chant this mantra. Right? So, any other example? Prahlad Maharaj. So, Garbhe, in the womb he heard. Acha. Anybody else? Nahi, bolo. Any other example? Huh? Prachetas. Again, sadhu sanga. Anybody who attained perfection by self-effort? Any self-made man in the Srimad Bhagavatam? No. So, That is what the Shastras are saying. It's the attitude developed in the association of a sadhu is what matters. So that sadhu sanga is most important. Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula Hai Sadhu Sanga. The root of birth of actual Krishna Bhakti is association of a proper sadhu. So that is very important. According to the sadhu that we associate with, we will develop that particular mode. So one should select a sadhu also according to the characteristics of a sadhu given in Shastra. Because Shastra specifies clearly who is a sadhu and what are the characteristics of a sadhu. According to the characteristics of a sadhu that are mentioned in Shastra, one should select a sadhu. Not by one's own intelligence. If one selects by one's own intelligence, that is another risk. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur spoke about this. Because you've asked me to elaborate, therefore I am elaborating. There's a very nice conversation where Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says something. I will very quickly point it out because it's important. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was asked a question. Can you read the question, Prabhuji? And loudly so that everybody can hear.
How will I be able to recognize someone as a bona fide spiritual master?
Right. His answer, direct answer. Please read.
When you make judgments based on your own intelligence that such and such a person is Guru, you are in fact projecting the qualities of Guru on him. Such a person is never truly the Guru. In such cases, you are thinking that the Guru is somehow under your control or within the purview of your sensory knowledge. When Krishna himself decides to send you someone to act as your spiritual master, that person will be manifest before you as the Mahanta Guru.
So when we make judgments based on our own, sadhu means like this, sadhu means like that. So basically we are projecting the qualities of a sadhu on a certain individual. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that is not the path to be followed. Whether Shiksha or Diksha Guru, one has to depend on Krishna in order to find a Shiksha or Diksha Guru. Dependence on Krishna is must for that. Because many people in the beginning, they no, I will not depend on Krishna. Why? Krishna may not give. So in the beginning itself, Shraddha is not there. Krishna will not give. So I have to find. So in the first step, Pratama grase makshika pata. It is said. Pehle घास में मक्खी गिरना. हिंदी में बोलते हैं कि नहीं? So if in the first step there is no faith that Krishna will give Guru, then how will there be Shraddha in the rest of the process? So in the first step itself, Shraddha is tested. When the disciple requests somebody to send a Guru, who should be requested to send a Guru? Krishna. And Krishna will select a Guru. That for this person, this individual should act as Guru. Then below that he says, please read.
How will I find a bona fide Guru? The Supreme Lord acts as Guru in two ways, as the Chaita Guru within the heart and externally as the Mahanta Guru or pure devotee. If I am sincere, then the Lord reveals the Mahanta Guru to me. We can go to 1,000 different people with the petition in hand, but until the one person who can approve your application approves it, we get nowhere. The Supreme Lord is that person. Why he does or does not approve our request is something we cannot fathom. He is not a field laborer working in our personal garden. We have to be patient and wait. In the meantime, we should prepare ourselves by cultivating a service attitude and trying to eliminate extraneous desires.
So that is how a sadhu is found. So a sadhu can be found easily by a person who is requesting the proper source. And who is that proper source to be requested? Krishna. Krishna should be petitioned. Bhagwan, send me a sadhu. Once you send a sadhu, I want to accept your arrangement, Bhagwan. That is the process that has been followed by all the previous acharyas. Even Srila Prabhupada will specify the same in a conversation. Prabhupada and there is a gentleman named O'Grady. Prabhupada says the best friend is the spiritual master because he saves one from the blazing fire of confusion. Mr. O'Grady says the problem is to find the spiritual master. Prabhupada says no, there is no problem. The problem is if you are sincere. You have got problems, but God is within your heart. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hriddeshe arjuna tishthati. God is not far away, God is within your heart. So if you are sincere, then God will give you a spiritual master. or sadhu, diksha or shiksha guru, any guru if we want to find. There is one proper way recommended by all the previous acharyas, that is to petition Shri Krishna, and that is a very good way. Alright, so I hope this sheds light on sadhu sanga and how proper sadhu sanga is attained. Okay? Alright. Anybody else? Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. We said that Krishna is reluctant to enter into a relationship with us as a second reason why it is really achieved. I've often heard that Krishna is more eager to be in a relationship with us than we are to be in a relationship with him. Also in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, we see how eager Krishna is to accept Gopakumar. So I'm struggling with this, that Krishna is reluctant to enter into a relationship with us.
Okay. So in the Brihad Bhagavatamritam, when Gopakumar goes back to the spiritual world, Krishna comes and says, for so many lives I was hoping against hope that you will turn your face towards me. All these lives I waited, but you did not turn. So, Are, but Krishna, why didn't you do anything? All these lives you were only waiting? Then Krishna says, Sanatan Goswami asks in the comment, but all these lives, what were you doing? Krishna says, I could not break my own eternal laws. I am so sorry. And what laws have you created eternally, Krishna? I don't interfere with the independence of a living entity. Acha? So, those statements are there that Krishna is more eager to bring us than we are eager to go there. Definitely that eagerness is also there on the part of Krishna. But you have to understand what is the nature of that eagerness. That eagerness is mentioned in a general way in Shastra. Like we give an advertisement for matrimonial. You know, once you give an advertisement in a newspaper for matrimonial, it indicates your eagerness. Yeah, I am eager to get married. When the actual relationship comes, people freeze. Wait, I want to check first before, Aisa. So, I hope you are able to understand. As a general statement, Bhagavan is always eager that, I am eager to see you turn towards me. When the specific details start happening, when the specific details are discussed, then Bhagavan takes thoda time, because once I enter into a relationship with this particular person, I will never be able to send this person back in the material world. Never. Once Bhagavan accepts a person, can Bhagavan send them back in the material world? Yes or no? If Bhagavan will send them back in the material world, then the material world will become the constitutional position of the living entity. So, the constitutional position is in the spiritual world, so Bhagavan is never going to send back that living entity into the material world. Therefore, Bhagavan takes his sweet time. Although in Shastra there are generic statements which say that Bhagavan is eager to bring everybody back to the spiritual world. But there are also statements where Bhagavan says, Naham dveshos, Name dveshosti na priya. Nobody is very dear to me. Nobody is an object of envy for me. So those statements are also there. So Bhagavan often makes those statements in the Shastra, but in actuality Bhagavan's heart is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Muktim dadati karichit. He will check the intentions. If somebody is coming for mukti, what do they want? They want mukti. They want impersonal liberation. Chalo theek hai. Get them mukti. Bhakti yogam prema? No. You want to get into my personal life? Oh, no. Wait. I'll check. What is your motivation? Huh? Then he checks the motivation. Two types of motivations are mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Sukha Aishwaryottara, Prema Sevottara. One person wants Sukha and Aishwarya. Wants liberation combined with two things. What are the two things? Sukha, Aishwarya. Happiness and opulence. Chalo, theek hai. Open the gates of Vaikuntha till Dwarka for him, according to his mood. Prema Sevottara. This person wants Prema and Seva. He doesn't want much of his own personal happiness. His happiness is in Prema and Seva. Chalo, open the gates of, Goloka Vrindavan for such a person. So, Sukhaishwaryottara, Prema Sevottara. Two types of mukti mentioned because two types of different motivations that people go with. And those motivations are natural. We can't force a motivation on somebody. Kubja, she has her motivations. queens of Dwarka, they have their motivations. The residents of Vraja also have their motivations, but their motivations are prema and seva. But Kubja, etc., residents of Dwarka, they have their motivations. So all those motivations are there. Bhagwan will accept all of them in the spiritual world, but the destination will be different. Okay? Thank you. Prabhu, you have to tell me when to stop. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Back there.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, you mentioned about the selfless nature in the bhakti. So, can you elaborate more, in the sense we should not practice to go back to Godhead, but for prema. So, but still, unless one is on, I feel raganuga stage, one cannot truly understand this thing, because we may say that we want to practice for Krishna's pleasure, but
Yeah. So there are two things. It's very important that we understand the mood of the parampara in this regard. Sri Rupa Goswami says a devotee often gets affected by two ghosts. There are two ghosts mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. I will pull out that verse because it's very important. This is 1-22 of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Please repeat after me, dear devotees. Bhukti mukti sprihayava pishachi radivartate tavad bhakti sukhasyatra katham abhyudayo bhave. Spriha. Two types of desires are going to give great trouble to the devotees. Please repeat after me the two types of desires. First is, please repeat, bhukti spriha. Desire for material enjoyment is the first ghost sitting on the heart of a practicing devotee often. Unless I attain this material happiness, I cannot become happy in bhakti. Unless I attain this goal, I cannot become happy in bhakti. Happiness is not in the present. Happiness is in the future, after I attain certain material goal. So that is bhukti spriha. Second is, please repeat, mukti spriha. Unless I go back to Godhead, I cannot be happy in bhakti. I hope you are able to understand. These are pishachi. Pishachi means they are sitting like a ghost on the heart. Hridi vartate. Have you seen a person affected by a ghost? In my village, I saw once in childhood. One person affected by a ghost. No happiness. His face is always, serious, because the ghost has taken away all the happiness. Katham tavad bhakti sukhas yatra katham abhyudaya. How will true happiness of bhakti arise? Till bhukti spriha, mukti spriha is there within the heart. Rupa Goswami is giving a very important instruction at this point of time. Please hear. Even if somebody is performing Vaidhi Bhakti, still one has to give up mukti spriha. Why? Because a devotee cannot forever continue with this motivation. Oh, today I have to wake up early in the morning. Why? Because if I don't wake up, then I will not be able to go. Where? Back to Godhead. So let me wake up. Oh, today I have to chant my rounds. Why? Because if I don't chant my rounds, then I cannot go where? Back to Godhead. Acha, with this fear, if you are going to execute bhakti, it's like a ghost sitting on your heart. हिंदी में सर पे भूत चढ़ जाना है ना, भूत चढ़ के सर पे कि अरे unless I do this I can't go back to Godhead, unless I don't, I can't go, I want to go back to Godhead as soon as possible. Are you bhakta or mumukshu? Are you devotee or are you hankering for liberation? What are you hankering for? So that attitude is, in the very beginning, Rupa Goswami nicely plucks it out from the heart of the devotee. For a newcomer we may say, you should practice bhakti because you would want to go back home, back to Godhead. But after a few years, a devotee who has practiced for some amount of time should know better. That even mukti spriha, even the desire to attain liberation is rejected in the Srimad Bhagavatam and by the previous acharyas. So whether Vaidhi Bhakta or it has nothing to do with Vaidhi or Raganuga. Nothing to do. This verse is independent of Vaidhi or Raganuga. Even a Vaidhi Bhakta has to reject mukti spriha. Otherwise, वही डर में if I don't go back to Godhead, तो क्या होगा? कुछ नहीं होगा. I hope you are able to understand. Huh? As long as we attain prema, till that point of time we are secured. Even if we have to stay in this particular material world, a devotee should have the courage to say, all right, I will stay in the material world, but I want your prema. Dear devotees, Are you don't want to go back to Godhead? What should be the answer? No. Nah. You want to stay here? All right. But that is the goal. You want to get recycled in the material world? That's all right, because going back to Godhead is Krishna's headache, is not my headache. I will quote Srila Prabhupada in this regard. There was that quote where he says, there was a quote where Prabhupada says that the devotee is not performing his chanting, etc., in order to go back home, back to Godhead. The devotee's only aim is to render proper service to Krishna. Krishna Prem is the aim of the devotee, not going back to Godhead. That is not the aim. Now, that is not the purpose for which he is performing his chanting or dancing. So a devotee who has practiced for a certain number of years must know better that that is not the ultimate aim specified in, by the previous acharyas, including Sri Rupa Goswami. It's important to tell this from time to time. Otherwise, we will flow in the flow always that our aim is mukti. So our aim is not mukti. Rupa Goswami will say very clearly. Please repeat after me, dear devotees. Atra tyajya tayaivokta mukti panchavidhapi che salokyadis tathapyatra bhaktya nati virudhyate. Atra tyajya tayaivokta. I have very clearly said, Rupa Goswami says, I very clearly said, to reject mukti. Mukti means what, dear devotees? Liberation. Which type of mukti? Panchavidha. What is Panchavidha? How many types of mukti? 5. I told you to reject 5 types of mukti. But out of these 5, 4 of them, except for Sayujya, merging in the Lord, so absolutely you have to give up. Remaining 4, Bhaktya na ati virudhyate. They are not very inimical to bhakti. See the attitude of Rupa Goswami. The remaining 4 are not very inimical to bhakti. Which means, if they come as anushangik phala, side effect of practicing bhakti, then that is okay. That is very nice. A much better attitude, the personification of this attitude is Sri Ishwar Puri, where he specifies in the Padyavali. This is a very nice verse. Yoga Shruti Papatti Nirjana Vana Dhyanadva Sambhavita Swarajya Pratipadya Nirbhayam Ami Mukta Bhavantu Dvija Asmakam tu Kadamba Kunja Kahura Pronmila Dindivara Shreni Shyamala Dhama Nama Jushatam Janmastu Lakshavadi. Very nice verse by Sri Ishwar Puri. Let the twice born enter the fearless kingdom of yoga, Vedic study, solitary meditation in the forest. Let them become liberated in that way. As for us, we will spend hundreds of thousands of births chanting the holy name of Krishna, whose splendid dark complexion and yellow garments are like a host of blue lotus flowers blooming in a grove of yellow flower-bearing kadamba trees. So, Janma Astu Lakshavadi, Lakho Janam Hone Do. That is the attitude of the Gaudiya Vaishnava later. In the initial days, the Gaudiya Vaishnava may not have that attitude because mixed motivations may be there. Later they come to know that the purpose is not mukti. Panchavidhapi, 5 types of mukti, are Tyajyata Yayavokta, are spoken of as being worthy of rejection in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. So those who are Rupanugas will follow in the footsteps of Sri Rupa Goswami and will understand this exact particular mode. So I hope that is all right. ठीक है. When to stop? One, two more questions. Yes, sure. Why not? Anybody else? Sure. Why not?
So, Snehavalli Mataji was asking yesterday, like if about the raganuga bhakti and or bhakti in general, and as you mentioned that after certain of years, if you are not achieving that, means something wrong what you are doing. So I just wanted to know that things too, Prabhuji. And one more thing, like how you measure your bhakti, like after certain years you are progressing, how you can measure, like you are progressing or you are stuck there.
See, Mataji, it's very simple. It is not my statement. I was quoting Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Because to make a big statement, it is not possible unless we have support from the previous acharyas. I will quote Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, 2 statements from him, so that it will become very easy to understand what was being said yesterday. One statement is right there in the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is it. In 11.2.49, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is quoted in the purport. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur has described the process by which one becomes an Uttam Adhikari. If, this is a big if one is fortunate, he gradually becomes disgusted with the limited vision and activities of the Kanishta Adhikari. So the limited vision and activities of the Kanishta Adhikari, he becomes disgusted with. He is disgusted with the level of progress that he has attained. And therefore, after becoming disgusted, then Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, and learns to appreciate the expanded vision of the Madhyam Adhikari, who is able to recognize that every living entity should become a devotee of Krishna, and that one achieves the perfection of life by following in the footsteps of an Uttam Adhikari, devotee of the Lord. So this is very clearly mentioned by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that one has to have a slight amount of disgust at the lack of progress that one makes in the initial years. Unless one has that disgust towards one's lack of progress, one cannot make advancement. It's very clearly mentioned in the purpose. And secondly, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur also put a time limit on it. So I would also like to specify the time limit, because it's important to show that there is a time limit on it. Some people say that there is no time limit, you can take your sweet little time to progress, but there is a time limit which is there on it. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he says this is transcendental reality. If we don't know of this transcendental realm, then all of our efforts will end in nirvisheshvad, impersonalism. Do not let your days pass simply in trying for anartha nivritti. Don't just let your days pass simply in trying to remove the negatives. Artha pravritti is also necessary, cultivating the positive. What is on the other side? Raga bhakti. Knowing about that is also necessary. Anartha nivritti is necessary only until artha pravritti has started. When artha pravritti, positive cultivation, is present, anartha nivritti becomes unimportant and artha pravritti becomes prominent. Those who have chanted Harinam for 15 or 20 years should know such things. The beginners may not know, or they may misunderstand. But those who have chanted 15 or 20 years should know what? Should know the highest aim of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas he was speaking about. Highest aim. Not just the beginning of Raganuga Bhakti. The highest aim of Gaudiya Vaishnavism should be known to those who have chanted for how many years? At least 15 years. Here also some devotees try to add mental speculation. Chanted how? Chanted really they should have chanted. No. He is saying those who have begun the process of chanting and have continued the process for 15 years, they should know. So it is very important for devotees who are progressing that they should know that within a certain specific limited time, they have to attain a specific progress. If that is not attained, then something somewhere is not going correctly. So both statements are there by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Previous acharyas have quoted. This is from his lecture in 1932, which he gave at Radhakund. It's very clearly recorded. So unless we are dissatisfied with the level of progress that we have currently, it will be difficult. And when it is difficult, then to progress, then Srila Prabhupada will also make a very harsh statement. Prabhupada makes a very harsh statement about devotees who are not able to progress correctly. He makes that in 1.2.12, purport of Srimad Bhagavatam, and this I will quote this last one and then we will move ahead. In 1.2.12 purport of Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada says something at the very end. A sincere devotee must therefore, dear devotees, how many of us want to be sincere? Please raise your hands. First the question, then the answer. All right. A sincere devotee must therefore be prepared to hear the Vedic literature like the Upanishads, Vedanta and other literatures left by the previous authorities or Goswamis for the benefit of his progress. Without hearing such literatures, one cannot make actual progress. Very clearly specified. And without hearing and following the instructions of whom? Instructions of the previous authorities, as mentioned in the previous Acharya's literature, the show of devotional service becomes worthless. Then it is all a show. Every Sunday coming in fancy Indian dresses in the temple, and it's a nice circus, dear devotees. But Prabhupada says, the show of devotional service becomes worthless and therefore a sort of disturbance on the path of devotional service. Unless, therefore, devotional service is established on the principles of Shruti, Smriti, Puran and Pancharatra, the make show of devotional service should at once be rejected. So instead of falling for the circus, one should make actual progress by listening to the previous acharyas. This is a general instruction given in the books of Srila Prabhupada, and therefore it is our duty to follow the instructions of Srila Prabhupada as it is. Instead, sometimes we say, no, we focus on that instruction where Prabhupada says, I will take you through the back door. So that's an exception. This is the rule. The rule is specified here. The exception may be there, but the rule is right here in front of us. It's a general instruction given in the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.12 commentary. So, Srila Prabhupada said.
Thank you.
Thank you. A little knowledge of the Upanishads and what is given in the Vedanta, because Bhagavatam is commentary on Vedanta. So understanding Bhagavatam is basically understanding what is there in the Vedanta. And little knowledge of the Upanishads such as Ishopanishad, etc. Because the commentaries by the previous acharyas on Ishopanishad. So we should have that knowledge. Therefore Prabhupada instituted it for those who are doing Bhakti Shastri. Unless one follows in the footsteps of the previous acharyas, the make show of devotional, basically Prabhupada is saying it becomes like a circus. Every Sunday, I am a devotee. Monday to Friday, who knows what I am. So dear devotees, the make show of devotional service should at once be rejected. So, in order to become a devotee, because most of us are devotees when we are in the presence of other devotees. But what we are when nobody is present is actually what we are. So that is very important. The make show of devotional service should at once be rejected, and instead of falling for the circus, one should actually become a genuine devotee by following the previous authorities or Goswamis. This is the plain truth. And truth is the only surviving leg. Dear devotees, don't break that leg. With folded hands, don't break that leg. This is the only leg surviving in the age of Kali. So dear devotees, let's not mistake the circus for actual bhakti. And the circus is still very useful. But actual bhakti begins when one follows the instruction of the previous acharyas, and Srila Prabhupada has very clearly mentioned it here. Okay? So, do I have 2 minutes, Prabhu? Sure. I'll quote one last final pastime and then I will. One time there was a dhobi, washerman. He had a donkey. The donkey's name was Gandharva Nandan. Okay? So donkey gave long service. For many years the donkey gave service, because dhobi means he will put the clothes on the back of Gandharva Nandan. The donkey gave long years of service. One day the donkey was trying to lift a load. The load was very heavy. Poor donkey collapsed on the ground and died. So Zare Bapre, Gandharva Nandan died today. After so many years of service he died. So dhobi started crying. But it's a very auspicious day. Today is Dwadashi. Gandharva Nandan died today. So today is the disappearance day of Gandharva Nandan. So he said, today I should shave my head. So he went to the river and he told Nai, the barber, shave my head. So barber shaved his head. And then he was walking in the marketplace and people said, "Arey, what happened? Arey, don't you know? Today Gandharva Nandan disappeared. It's a very auspicious day." Acha? Acha. Other people thought, "Acha, we must also observe." Huh? So other people started shaving their heads. So soon in the kingdom there were people with shaved heads. Huh? So the king came to know, kya ho raha hai? What happened? So minister said, "Don't you know? Gandharva Nandan died today." Acha? ठीक है. King also shaved his head. Huh? So उसके बाद there was one Brahmana staying in the city. He said, "What happened? Why is everybody shaved head today?" "Arey, don't you know? Pandit ji, Gandharv Nandan died today." "Which Gandharv Nandan?" "There's nothing mentioned in Shastra. No tithi is mentioned in Shastra." "Acha, we never checked, but people are saying Gandharv Nandan died today." "Acha, let's backtrace." Huh? So they backtraced and found the dhobi. The Raja called the dhobi, said, "Who told you today is auspicious day?" "Nobody told me. My donkey's name was Gandharva Nandan. He died today." Oh. This story was told by my Shiksha Guru, Sri Srimad Gaur Govind Maharaj. He told this story. Gandharv Nandan died today. Acha. So this is in Hindi, it's called Bhedchal. You know what is Bhedchal? Oh, the Prabhuji is doing, so I will also. Arey, check in Shastra, dear devotees. Follow the instructions given in Shastra. And therefore, without following what is given in Shastra, without learning Shastra, without taking the effort to learn Shastra, it will become difficult to attain progress. Therefore, Prabhupada wanted all the devotees to do Bhakti Shastri, to become Shastri. Who is Shastri? One who knows? Or one who has a certificate? Who is a Shastri? It's very important. Because we think one who has a certificate is a Shastri. One who has Shastra is Shastri. So dear devotees, let us not fall for the circus, because people can cry even at the death of Gandharva Nandan. But people become emotional even for Gandharva Nandan. But it is important that we should find the person who will make us emotional for Nanda Nandan, Shri Krishna. So that is the sum and substance of the pastime. All right? Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Asha, so I was asked to make an announcement yesterday. We couldn't. We made a short announcement. So dear devotees, those of you who read Hindi, who like to read Sahitik Hindi, like Hindi of the old style, and would like to relish a commentary on the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So an attempt has been made to translate a rare commentary on the 10th canto by Sri Harisuri. This commentary is called Bhakti Rasayanam. My dear friend Param Karuna Prabhu, he has a few copies and he is showing it here. Dear devotees, those of you who wish to have a copy, but it is in Hindi. Good news, by the end of the year, the first volume is also coming out in English. So dear devotees, the first volume of Bhakti Rasayanam with Hindi translation is there available here, and pretty soon there will be an English translation. But those who are willing to read Hindi, who love to read Hindi, Rashtra Bhasha of Bharatvarsh, dear devotees, please you can take the book. There is no fixed price for the book. The book is a Brahminical service to the devotee poet Sri Harisuri. So there is no fixed charge expected. It is on a donation basis. You can give any donation, $1 or $10,000, or anything in that range. All right, dear devotees. So we are pausing at this particular point of time. Those who are interested in reading the realizations of Sri Harisuri and the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, so that book is very nice. Dear devotees, for the first time an attempt has been made to translate. So if you are interested, you can kindly contact Param Karuna Prabhu. And tomorrow there is another talk at Srinivas Sharan Prabhu's place. It's at what o'clock? 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock we'll be discussing a very specific personality whose disappearance day was celebrated recently, Sri Madhavendra Puri. So there is a talk on the mood of service of Sri Madhavendra Puri. Let's finally see how a person who is actually in the path of raganuga bhakti, how does that person, what is the mood of that person? Because he is said to be the originator of raga bhakti within the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. So from him, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also derives inspiration. It is Sri Madhavendra Puri who is the root of all the raganuga bhakti that entered into our tradition. Even before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, rag bhakti was being performed by Sri Madhavendra Puri. And let's get a glimpse into his life. In his own words, we will see, who he is, and then he will also have disciples, and what are his interactions with his disciples. We will also see that. So dear devotees, that is tomorrow. It's at Srinivas Sharan Prabhu's place, and those who wish to come, please contact him. And thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. The most important one, tomorrow at the house program, prasadam will also be served. So please do come 7 o'clock sharp. It's not 7:30, 7 o'clock. And then, you're leaving on Thursday morning, right? Prabhuji is leaving on Thursday morning. Okay, Hare Krishna.